0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another recap edition of the Phixated Podcast. I'm your, I don't know, semi-concerned, bothered, frustrated host, Mike Azzy, and I'm joined by your very angry co-host, Regzy Boo. Regs, do you want to go, or do you want to
let me
settle into this?
let me just get it out, because I feel like it'll make for the rest of it to be a lot better.
I'm going to take notes.
It'll also prep me, just kind of help me deal with some emotions.
Yeah, I'm going to take notes while you do it.
Where do I want to start? Again, as I prefaced before we started, this is going to be a completely irrational rant. So usually this is how our text messages go. I even avoided texting you for much of the night because I was like, I just don't want to make him mad with my irrational bullshit. So I just didn't text it to you. I kept it inside. And now you're going to have to hear it all at once. So sorry, buddy. I love you. But this is just what has to happen for me to kind of process this. How the fuck don't you show up tonight? I don't want to hear Merrick Kelly's a great pitcher. I don't want to hear blah, blah, blah. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. You are at home with a chance to clinch, and regardless of 3 runs by Aaron Nola, you are an offense that should score 7 a game, and besides a 25-year-old named Brandon Marsh and Kyle Schwarber's first 2 walks and JT's double, you no-showed. You had 7 good at-bats in an entire game against not that great of a pitcher. At home, to clinch a series, coming off a win. You didn't lose one, win one, lose one again, and come back off of a loss. You won the last game. They had to travel all the way from, so did you, but they're coming to a hostile, to see Citizens Bank Park. And this is the effort that you gave tonight. Trey Turner. I don't care. I'm going to say it. Bryce Harper. Boom. I get it. He had 2 hits, but they were lucky because they only play us up the middle when they're up, and he happened to hit it a foot away from Marte each time. So, yay for you. Bryson Stott. Johan Rojas, again, I completely agree with your take that they should have hit Cave for him in that one inning. Nick Castellanos. 1 for 19 now in this series? How is this the level of effort that you come into this game with? How? How is it possible? I know Aaron gave up some runs. 3 runs is not that many. It's just not. And you fucking folded. You folded. You showed no ability to bounce back, take the necessary approach at the plate, and just do something about it. It's embarrassing. I'm angry. Rant over.
I actually thought it was going to be much worse than that.
I significantly calmed it down so I don't scream while my kids are asleep. If this was 4:30 in the afternoon, I would be yelling right now.
Fair. That's fair. Okay, let me start with Aaron Nola. I really hope this isn't his last start. This is not the way I want to remember Aaron Nola. And I know what you're saying. You were saying 3 runs. He did give up 4 in 4 1/3. And to me, I wasn't angry about the 2 home runs. I thought that Tommy Pham swung angry in his first at bat and went down and got a ball that was actually a decent pitch, and made a good swing and put it out. Yeah, man. I mean, if you look at it on Gamecast, it's down in the zone. He just went down and got it.
It looked like just a spinner that did nothing.
Let me look at it. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong.
I'm not saying you are. It wasn't a good pitch. Good might
It
in
was
my
it
mind,
was
good is stretching it a little bit.
yeah. Well, it was low. It was lower in the zone. It wasn't his best curveball. Let's put it that way. It
Fine.
was not his best. I thought they over exaggerated that it was hanging. Like when you look at it, it's down in the zone. That being said, either way, Tommy Pham hit a ball out. Then he got ambushed by Gurriel, hit it out.
I thought Gurriel hit a harder pitch, honestly.
Maybe I mixed up the two.
Down
Now I
and
gotta
like
look at
a
that.
down and in sinker.
Now I gotta look at that because now I'm like, maybe I mixed the two up. Let me see. Yeah. They're honestly, when you look on GameCast, they're actually not that far apart.
Okay, maybe
in
just
terms of where they
from
were throwing.
television. That's
Yeah. So I was angriest about the Alec Thomas walk after those two because they went out, they talked to him, or actually maybe they didn't give him the mound visit until after the walk. I think it might have been after.
It was after the walk.
Yeah.
It was after the walk. Yeah.
I would have gone out and talked to him at 2-0 personally. Like as soon as he threw that second pitch way into Thomas, I was like, you gotta go talk to him.
Completely off.
Yeah, because then they went and talked to him, and Evan Longoria is not dumb.
Right.
Like
He's
that dude's
just
been
going to
playing for
try
a
and
long
get
time.
something over right now. Yep.
Yep, he's been playing for a long time. If you make a good pitch there, then you might get in the ground into a double play. It's 2-0. That feels a lot different than 1 or 3-0. But he didn't. That made me angry. And then he started to look normal again. Everything was looking pretty good. He in the fifth, he came back out. I know that you were not pumped about the pitch to Corbin Carroll, but that's one of those at bats where you've got to try something different because he's not going to go down on the pitch in at that point. He's just going to do everything he can to fight in. He's going to fight until you throw him something over the plate. That pitch was like 2 balls off the plate.
But it's essentially the same thing that Thomas did to Kimbrel. Thomas went out and got a pitch that was a ball outside when he hit that home run. But the whole time you've been jamming him in.
Yeah.
And he's just trying to cheat to try and catch up to anything in because he's not catching up to it. I get it. He's fouling it off. I understand he's fouling it off. And I understand he's going to keep doing it. But he almost he almost grounded out to barely like 6 feet in front of the plate. Like I get it that he's fouling it off, but all he's doing is cheating to try and get his hands inside those balls. So even when you go outside and the ball's that far out, he's just like Thomas. He's so far out in front of it that you just put it on his barrel. Like that was my problem. I don't care if he's going to saw off 6 more bats. He's not going to hit the ball hard in there.
Yeah, I hear you. I just think, if you're going to try and get an out in that spot, you got, I think the idea was we're going to go away and we're going to throw a ball and then we're going to come back in and we're going to try and get him. And he swung at a ball and he hit it.
I'm not taking away the fact that Corbin Carroll is still a very good batter and like he has the ability to hit anything. I'm not taking away from that. That's just kind of what happened. I get it.
I mean, the pitch from Nola, I don't think was ever intended to be a strike.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it wasn't. Yeah, on purpose. Like you said.
We're going to show him a pitch away, and then we're going to, we're going to come right back in, and hopefully we can get him to ground out to second base or ground out weakly to Bryce or pop up like he's been doing. But I think his whole mindset was if they give me anything off the plate, I'm going to swing.
Yeah.
Because I'm not hitting the ball inside. So for those to be, it's just, that's a good at bat from Carroll. And then, the only dude, what I want them to start doing is not pitching to Ketel Marte.
Seriously.
Do to them what they do to Bryce. Yeah. Like he's the only guy at this point who is consistently hitting.
Yeah.
Like, Tommy Pham got you once tonight.
But that was it.
Gurriel got you once tonight.
Yeah.
Right? Like this dude got them twice again. Stop pitching to him.
Yeah.
When there are runners on base, don't pitch to him.
Yep.
Do what they do to Bryce. I respect this Diamondbacks team. I do, but I'm gonna go back to like I feel as though tonight they kind of blew their load. You saw it early. They got 3 big swings in the second inning and then did nothing essentially outside of sprinkling in a run here and then a run there. Like, and two of the 3 big hits tonight, the 2 that really sealed the game were Ketel Marte. Those 2 were the 2 that sealed the game. Just don't pitch to them.
Yeah.
That's sort of where I stand on that. Before I jump to the offense, I want to just talk a little bit about what Topper's approach was after Nola. I honestly think it should have been his approach after Sanchez the other night.
You're right. This is what that game should have looked like.
Yeah. I don't mean from the extent of, we go this guy and then we go.
No. I completely understand.
I'm saying he went to Lorenzen to say, I'm going to get an inning and a half out of you.
Yep.
He should have done that after Hoffman. He got an inning and a half out of Hoffman. He should have gone then to Walker or Lorenzen.
Yeah, again.
To get another inning or 2 out of the 2 of them.
Yeah. Why is Taijuan Walker on this roster?
Yeah, I know. But the other side of what I'm saying, yes, is it should have been what he did in game 4. That's 1. 2 is what he did tonight sets them up well for tomorrow.
Yes, it might be the only positive that came out of this game. Other than Brandon Marsh continues to be the only person with some stones on this team.
Yeah, I agree. It was a positive about this game is the fact that he's got.
You didn't use Strom. You didn't use obviously Sir Anthony, Hoffman, and Alvarado.
And you're clearly anticipating that they're going to try and get Wheeler for an inning, at least.
Yeah.
They'll use Wheeler for an inning, and he'd still be in line to start game 1.
Right.
Because it's a side day. So if he throws an inning, it's like throwing a bullpen.
Yeah.
For him. So yeah, he'll be available tomorrow as well. I think the other thing I just want to mention here for a second, and I know it was a low it was a low risk inning. There was not a lot of leverage to it. But watching Gregory Soto tonight made me angry that we haven't used a lot of Gregory Soto in the postseason.
Yeah, he still has talent, man. The guy still has talent.
I'm not sure why.
I think
get the walks,
they're afraid. Yeah, that's it. That's all they're.
But my thing would be, if you use him in that part of the order, those are 3 outs. You don't have to use somebody else.
You know what my thing is? Why are you trusting Craig Kimbrell so much when Gregory Soto is sitting on the bench?
Yeah.
How much more difference in arm talent do you have to see?
I don't think you're going to see Kimbrell. I think these are the innings you're going to see.
I'm not saying that. I'm just talking about in the past. Again, like we talked about in the other podcast after game 4, like you put Craig Thompson got infatuated with the name on the back of the jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Not the talent of the guy and the stuff of the guy.
Yeah.
Like Gregory Soto should have been in more innings than Craig Kimbrell. I get it. Sometimes he's wild. I get it. Sometimes that happens. But just look at the stuff the guy has.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's it.
I'm looking. I just want to make sure I have the right. Yeah. So I had said, they should have taken out Rojas, and then like the next inning he made that ridiculous diving play.
Yes.
To save a hit. But then Soto got Gurriel on strikes, so he went through 5, 6, 7 in the Diamondbacks order.
Yep.
Well, he walked Thomas, and then he struck out Longoria. Alec Thomas and Geraldo Perdomo. The next time I see them, it won't be soon enough. It won't be soon enough. It just won't be.
But look, Alex Thomas and Perdomo are showing up more than Trey Turner and Nick Castellanos. That's fun. It's making me really happy. I enjoy it a lot.
I don't have a whole lot more to say about the pitching. I really hope it's not the last time we see Aaron Nola. I'm still
Can
like,
I say one thing about Nola?
Yeah.
I think I'm more upset with his sort of body language and how the rest of it's exactly what you said, the walk and then the double to get another run out of that is like the worst part about it, because he's shown this whole postseason that he's been able to sort of work through this stuff. I get it, he hasn't given up any home runs, and this was like it felt like he snapped back into regular season Nola. And he was afraid to throw strikes because he was nervous about them hitting more home runs.
Yeah.
And all postseason, guys get on second, guys get on third. He's shown the ability. He's shown an ability to just get through it and keep throwing strikes and force them to have to do something. And he got scared, man. He got scared. And I think that's what I'm most disappointed about.
He started nitpicking.
I understand that he came back and pitched some good innings after that. I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But like, that was the bummer.
Yeah. He started to get he started to just kind of eat around the edges a little bit. And when he does that, you know that that he's really not in the right place.
Yes.
And he just started doing it as soon as the 2 home runs happened. But then he like settled in again.
He did.
Like then he looked effective,
Yeah.
And then in the 5th he just ran out of gas. I think that second inning took a lot out of him, and he never really recovered. All right, I don't really have much else to say about the pitching.
The only thing I'm happy with is how they handled it.
Yeah, I kept thinking to myself. Also, I do want to real quick, just a shout out to Michael Lorenzen, because
what a great job by him tonight.
Yeah, he came in a really tough spot, got a weak ground out, and then a strikeout. Like
with a guy on third, would you have expected Michael Lorenzen to get those 2 outs there?
Yeah, and I mean he pitched around Christian Walker quite a bit, which was fine.
Yeah.
And I know you wanted that fastball, but his fastball is more of a sinking fastball.
Yeah.
So he can't throw that ball up in the zone the same way that like a Wheeler can or even a Nola can. Because his ball is like direct sink. So if he's throwing that ball up in the zone, it's coming right into a happy place. So he's really trying to stay low in the zone, and I think Walker can get to that ball. So I saw what they were doing. They were going to throw slider in the dirt, slider off the plate over and over again, change up, that sort of a thing. Then he could attack fastball with Fam. Yeah. Then he could go fastball. But yeah, really good job by Lorenzen. And I kept saying at that point to Andrea, like, gosh, it just feels like they're gonna win this game. Like they're just hanging around. And it feels like the type of game that if you leave them around long enough, they're gonna get 1 or 2 base runners and somebody's gonna pop one.
Yeah, they did. And what happened?
Here's the problem with the offense. This is what we call transition, folks. They didn't do what we thought they'd do. I don't know what happened on the flight. I have no idea what happened on the flight.
Apparently we can't travel because apparently the flights fuck this team up completely from an offensive standpoint.
I'm not sure what went down between the game on Saturday night and today. But the approaches are just out of whack. Like I'm still here. Here are the guys with approaches that I can tolerate tonight. Kyle Schwarber. I very rarely cannot tolerate a Kyle Schwarber at bat. His at bats are usually very, very good. It is rare where Kyle Schwarber comes up and you're like, "What are you doing, Kyle?" Like even when he's not going well, I rarely say, "What are you doing?"
I was really mad at him for missing that curveball. It's a fucking meatball.
No one was hitting anything tonight, so it's
again,
one of those things.
Again, not rational. Rational. Regz is here.
He's in my eyes, like number 7 or 8 on the.
Let's get to the next guy who absolutely sucked.
Well, no, hold on. I'm talking about the approaches I liked.
Oh, sorry, I changed it. My bad. Like I told you, I'm still not over it.
I liked Kyle Schwarber's approach tonight.
Fair.
I was a fan of his approach. I didn't feel like he was chasing like many of the other guys did. Thought he was in the zone. I Brandon Marsh, of course. I know the one at bat. They
He
got him,
stared
but
at 2 strikes.
I think in that at bat, if I'm thinking back, I'm not looking. I'd have to pull it
I'm
up.
getting over it with him. He's been the guy
Yeah,
who's shown up the most. Like
but
it's baseball. You're not going to hit everything.
right. But Merrill Kelly did a nice job pitching him backwards in that at bat and threw him an 0-2 or 1-2 fastball, like basically down the middle, that he clearly was not looking for. You know,
JT had one good at
J-
bat.
yeah, JT, I
And
was just
then
about to
missed
say,
2 balls down the chute.
yeah, JT tonight, it was interesting. Like, and then swinging first pitch a couple of times. My problem was every time, you're down 3 runs and you're down 4 runs, when you have deficits that large, your only way to come back is with base runners.
Yes.
That's it. That's your way to come back. And once you get a base runner, your job is to put pressure on by making them throw you strikes. There were a couple of times when they got base runners where the next guy came up and was just swinging. The Phillies do the most damage when they get base runners and pitchers start to panic and throw strikes in the zone where they can hit. This team's most effective when they're not widening the zone, when they're not extending the zone, when they're not providing the pitcher with more space to operate. When you think about the games they've won in this series, they've beaten Zach Gallen, they beat Merrill Kelly, and they beat Zach Gallen again. It's because their approaches were such as they did not expand the zone on their own. And I don't know, and I'd love to say, like, knowing that the umpire's zone tonight is usually a little wider. I don't know if that's what they went up with, but I don't believe that's the case. I just think that they expanded the zone.
It was wider to righties than lefties.
And honestly, I thought Trip Gibson did a really good job tonight. I had no issues with the zone tonight. None. I thought it was consistent. I didn't think there was any guessing. I think the Phillies' approach tonight is what did them in. And there was a moment in this game where I was like, uh-oh, I don't know if this is going to be the night. And I'll tell you exactly what it was. It was the first inning when Trey Turner hit a ball 3 feet from the fence. And I initially thought it was gone. Like, off the bat, I was like, that's gone. That is 100% gone. But in the October air, you can't put a ball that high. If you notice, both home runs from the Diamondbacks were bullets,
Missiles.
line drives.
Yep.
There was no air. If you put the ball that high in a Philly October air.
It happened to another one that Thomas tracked down, like in the gap. Rojas.
The Rojas.
I mean, his balls go to die anyway. He puts some weird ass spin on balls that nothing flies.
He's also not strong.
Right.
So, but it was that point that I was like, offensively, this could be a long night. And it turned out to be. I just, for me, the Phillies, when they try and do too much offensively, and by too much, I mean every single swing is like, this swing's going to win the game. That's the approach they had tonight. They got down 3-0 and immediately, well, not immediately, because they actually had a couple of good at bats following that. They had the JT at bat, right? That happened. Nick came up, had a crappy at bat, which is starting to become too much of a trend. And Brandon had a good at bat, right? And following that, not another good at bat from Rojas. Like, I know he made an out, but it was at least a good at bat from him in that spot. So they'd start to put together some. Well,
then Kyle walked,
Kelly.
and then Trey came up and swung at 3 balls.
Yes,
not a single one was a strike out of the hand. I get it. The second one was the closest pitch that you texted correctly.
Yeah.
But like, why, man? Why?
Just trying to do too much. And again, like,
did you see the hole on the right side during that at bat?
Yeah. The aggression for me is because twofold. One, he's trying to get the big hit, and he's in a little bit of a slumber right now. The second is he has good numbers against Kelly. And again, he's thinking, and he's got to get this out of his head. He's got to pretend that there's a pitcher on deck because he's still Trey Turner and they still fear him. So he's got to pretend it doesn't matter that number 3's behind him because they're starting to show that they're going to throw him breaking balls because he's going to chase them. It's the same thing with Nick Castellanos right now.
Yeah.
They're going to throw him breaking balls because he's going to chase them. And the reason that Nick had so much success in the Brave series is because he stopped swinging at breaking balls out of the zone.
And we thought it was going to change after the last game. Because his approaches were great. I get it. He didn't get a ton of hits, but he wasn't swinging at them.
Yeah.
And then, hold on. You have to explain to me why a professional baseball player could look at the field and see a hole that big and then still swing at the pitches he swung at. Can you help me? I get it. We'll never explain it because we're not Trey Turner. How is that possible with the amount of baseball that man has played and the ability for him to hit the ball anywhere on a baseball field, anywhere? How is it possible to look up and look around the field like every hitter does when they come up to the plate and after every pitch? How is it still possible with a man on third and you desperately need more runs to swing at those pitches with the only thing in your mind is that I'm pulling this ball out to left field? How is it possible?
I'm going to tell you something. Honestly, it doesn't matter if there are 0 guys on the field. The pitches he swung at, you're not going to hit. It doesn't matter.
But I understand. You're right.
The approach in this moment should be, we've got first and third. I'm going to take until he throws me a strike.
But also, if your approach is, I'm going to hit it through that gap over there, you're not swinging at the pitches he threw.
You're not swinging, period, until you get a strike.
Exactly. Again, why in God's name do you see a hole that big and think I'm putting it out that way? What the fuck? What is happening?
Look,
I understand that if I went at bat against Merrill Kelly, he would strike me out quicker than you could blink. I understand that, man. I get it. I only played high school baseball. I understand. I'm not talking about me. You'd have a better chance, but I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about Trey freaking Turner.
I get it. And look, there's not a good answer.
You're right. I'm not expecting an answer, but how the fuck is that the approach when you walk in the batter's box and look around and see that? How can you be like, nope, I'm still good. I got it. It's all good. Everything's cool.
Because honestly, dude, like tonight, the approach was, we're trying to win this game with one swing. Like if you go back, and I'm not telling anybody to do this because I wouldn't want to go through it again. If you went back and watched this game, there were no swings to there. I don't even want to say swings. There was just no approach to, we just need base runners right now. We need to keep the train moving.
You're right.
The approach was, I'm going to tie the game. I'm going to get the big hit. I think sometimes the crowd can be a detriment to them because they want to hit the ball 12 rows deep and send the place into a frenzy.
No.
But when they won the other night 10-0, when they won game 2, it was, I'm going to get the baton to the next
base
guy.
hit. I get it. They hit home runs, but it was like single, walk, double, single.
It's what? You just in a playoff game, you have to keep the pressure on the other pitcher.
I hate it so much. I hate it so much.
I understand, and I've said this to you so many times. This is a hard game. It's a very difficult sport to play. But the Phillies know their recipe for success. Their recipe for success is creating opportunities for themselves with traffic. And look, they've hit a lot of solo home runs. 100%. They've done that. That has been one of their MOs this postseason. But they're at their best when they're forcing the pitcher to come into the zone. When they're not chasing. And they've allowed now Brandon Pfaadt to force them to chase. They've allowed in a bullpen game at times those relievers to make them chase. And they certainly allowed Merrill Kelly to get them not to chase, but to swing too early in counts and not force him to make pitches. He was, I mean, outside of, I think it was the first inning he got in a little bit of trouble, and the second inning he got in trouble, so his pitch count was high. And I was shocked they
And
took him
we
out after he
well, we
walked through
also
the first
let him
3
off the
guys.
hook for 2 innings. We made him throw like 9 pitches in 2 of those innings.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask another question that can't be answered. So again, irrational regs, you just have to deal with this tonight, and I'm sorry, buddy. I say this with the most love in the world to you and I. How do 2 fucking dumbasses like us know that your approach is wrong and you're a fucking professional baseball player, and after Trey Turner walks off the field in that inning, in the second inning or the third inning, whatever it was, second inning, when he strikes out like that, how the shit is your approach the same when you get up the next time? How
pressing.
is
They're
it? Fuck
They're
you.
pressing.
Fuck
They're
you. You're a
pressing.
professional baseball player.
Yes, and they're pressing.
Get
Like
your head out of your ass.
they could not state it more than they showed it tonight. That once they got down 3-0, they started to press. They immediately went into this like, we have to win the game. We have to come back now. We have to swing now. We don't have time. Like they went into complete panic mode. Honestly, everyone, including Bryce.
Yeah, I know.
Bryce
You're not wrong. Like exactly.
Really
That's
pathetic
why I
swings.
mentioned him in the opening.
But many times, Bryce Harper is not chasing that curveball in the dirt. And I think he did it 3 times tonight. He swung at curveballs in the dirt. This was an all-time pressing game for them. The answer to your every question that you're going to ask me about their about them swinging early, them chasing pitches, my frustration about their approach all comes down to they got down 3-0 and they immediately went into this we have to come back now mode. When really with their offense, all they have to do is apply pressure and swing at good pitches. That's it. That is it. That's the approach. And they refused to do it tonight, and they lost.
But why is there no one on this team to like go down the dugout and be like, guys, what are we doing?
I don't know that matters, man. I wouldn't be shocked if someone did say it. But when you get in that box, your mentality is your mentality. I've been there so many times. I've been there so many times where I know that I need to swing at certain pitches. I need to do certain things. But it doesn't, the second I get in that box, my mindset is, all right, I got to get after him early. And then I try and get after him early. And because I'm in that, that's the headspace. And look, like, it's not okay. I'm not trying to make
No, I'm not saying
it's
you
okay
are.
that it happened. What I'm saying is it is just the nature of the beast. And I know that these guys get paid. I get it. I know how much they get paid. I know that they're professionals. But I will tell you this, my talent didn't necessarily match it after high school. But like in terms of like my intelligence within the game, I consider myself to be a very intelligent baseball mind. And that did not always change my approach because there's still like the mental aspect of this game, and it's really hard. And it's a challenge sometimes to overcome that mindset with what you know you're supposed to do. And tonight they showed it. And I said it a couple times here. I didn't text it. I tried to stay super positive in every text chain I was in. But I called them mental midgets a lot tonight. And they played like that. They played like that's probably not a politically correct term. So I apologize for saying it the way that I said it. I don't mean it in any sort of direct. But they were playing with really, really shortened mental mindsets tonight. They were just really struggling with like their ability to go to at bats and harness them the way that they did in games 1, in game 2, in game 5. It was watching game 3 and 4 all over again.
I understand. And this is somewhere where admittedly I put, I think, too much emphasis on this, but it's just how in my life as like a kid who plays sports or captains of teams or something like that, It is the job of leaders on the team to not stop talking about it. To regardless of how you went up and took your at bat, if you didn't do it how we just talked about, it's the job of a leader to hold that person accountable. It's the job of a leader to keep the message the same to everyone, regardless of if they're Trey Turner or Johan Rojas. It's the job of leaders to psych guys out of it as much as possible, understanding that when they get in the box, you have no control over it. I understand that. But it's the job of leaders to try and change the mindset by constantly reinforcing this can't be how we do this, guys. I understand that when they get in the box, you can't control it. I get it. I understand. And I'm not saying that this changes it one way or the other. No one on this team tonight made sure that every single person knew that every time they came in the dugout, guys, we gotta change it up. Don't forget, shorten up. We just need base runners. Don't try and win it with one swing. I understand that it makes no difference when that person steps in the box. I get it. But it didn't even seem like their leaders changed their approach, because you know what leaders also do? They show you why. They set an example. And not even their leaders could do it tonight. That's the crap that bothers me. I get it. You're a professional baseball player. I get it that you again, managers, the managers that get in guys' faces and jump on them for every little thing are managers that don't stick around a lot. I get it. But this team has enough of a camaraderie with each other and a trust in one another that plenty of guys should be able to go up to everyone and be like, this stops now. Change what you're doing. I'll show you if I have to, right? I'll show you what we need to do. And no one stepped up to show them besides the 25-year-old caveman. No one.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think I don't know what's happening in that dugout. I don't know what's happening.
Of course not.
Understand.
Right.
I understand the lead by example thing, and I said it with Rojas after Marsh led off with a single and went up there hacking. I was like, that's because he's watched his veteran age.
Right. Exactly.
So I that lead by example piece. Yeah, I agree with that. But I doubt that they weren't saying, come on guys, we need to have a better approach. We need to, I'm sure there were conversations and they know what they need to do.
Someone needs to do it. You can talk about it all day long. And then you know what it gets you? A 6-1 loss at home in a clincher.
It was,
5-1, whatever it was.
I think Schwarber, they did it early, right? They did it early. They did it when it was a tie game. But for some reason, when they get down, they panic. They just go into full panic. Think about how many times they've been down this postseason.
Mm-hmm.
They've been down a whole lot. I don't think they ever trailed in the Miami series. They've trailed for 3 innings.
The whole time.
The only time they trailed against the Braves was the late in the comeback game
and the Strider game.
And early in the Strider game,
Yeah.
but then Castellanos hit the
Right.
bomb, tied it
Right.
literally
It was
right away.
1 inning. Yep.
Against the Diamondbacks, they did not trail the first 2 games. Did they get out to an early? No, they got down in game 3.
Here, someone just tweeted this. Michael Bauman. Through the first 11 postseason games, the Phillies had 1 plate appearance in which they were not leading, tied, or within a home run of tying the game. Tonight, they had 25 such plate appearances.
Yeah. And it was evident that they completely left their bodies in that sense. Because even the Brandon Pfaadt game, they weren't having great at bats at all.
Mm-hmm.
And it was total panic. It was, we got it. The only way we're going to win this game is with a solo home run. That was it. And then in game, they were leading a lot of game 4. or it was close in game 4. I can't remember like where. I know it was 5-2 at one point.
Yeah,
I know that. So like that stuff, like when you think about it, and then in game 5, they were leading most of that game. This idea of, and that's why we keep saying like they got to get out to a lead. They got to get out to a lead. They got to get out of the inning. But at some point, like
you shouldn't have to.
It's not even that. At some point, pitching's not going to be what it is. Pitching has been great all postseason. Tonight it wasn't. And who knows what the hell tomorrow's going to bring. I know Ranger is like the coolest customer on the block. I get that. But this Diamondbacks team is like, they're playing with house money.
You don't think they're confident right now after winning this game?
They feel good. They know that crowd's going to be tense tomorrow. They know that.
Especially if they come out and score first again.
We know that. I will tell you this right now. This is the deciding factor in this game is not about the Diamondbacks. It's not about Brandon Pfaadt.
No.
It's not about the Diamondback offense. This truly, the Phillies season comes down to one game, right? It's a 1-game season. Game 7, not one in 140 years. This team has not played a game 7 in 140 years. They've played a handful, less than a handful of winner go home game 5s. I'm going to tell you right now, they will win this baseball game if they decide to have the correct approach against a rookie making a road start tomorrow.
In a game 7.
That's how they win. If they decide that they're going to have the same approach against Brandon Pfaadt that they did in game 1, or in game 3, sorry, in which they decided that they were going to chase. And I was the first one to say he made effective pitches. He was good tonight. I want to tip my cap to him. But they need to have a different approach to him. They've seen him now. There's no excuse. They saw him less than a week ago. Later tonight, I'm going to go through and I'm going to figure out like how teams have responded when seeing Brandon Pfaadt 2 times. I just want to know what it's looked like. We probably won't see, too much because he's only been in the league a short time. So unless you play in the NL West, you're not going to see a whole lot there. But the game 7 comes down to simply whether or not the Phillies offense is going to be able to shoulder the load the way they have all postseason. Are they going to have the at-bats? Are they going to cash in? And if they do, they're going to win. And no one has to think twice. If they don't, then we're looking at one of the biggest failures of a team in a long time. And look, I said at the beginning of the postseason that like I was good with whatever happened. I don't think I'm good with losing 2 at home.
No.
I'm not going to be good with that. You know, you've got a home field advantage. You've got a fan base that look, this fan base, well, until later when the non-diehards that, started loving this team in mid-September.
Yeah.
When they started leaving. I thought the fans did a good job of like trying to
really did try to get Nola back into it. And they really did.
And, they were on their feet at the beginning of every inning, but like to their defense, it's hard to stay in the game when the offense is
help. Yep. They got no help.
A wet paper towel for, 9 innings. Like it's really difficult to stay in the game. You got to give them a reason to stay in the game. And that's why I kept saying chip away. And the offense just kept coming up and saying, oh, we gotta tie it right here. Like it's the 3rd inning. If we don't tie it now, it's really poor approach.
I hate
so
it so
honestly,
much.
there's no key to tomorrow's game other than the offense simply has to show up to the ballpark and act like they've done this before. And I don't mean played in a game 7. I mean hit a baseball in the way that you're taught to do it, which is show up, make the right decisions coming to the plate.
Swing at strikes.
Well, and here's the thing. I also want to say you got it. I want to talk out of both sides of my mouth because there are absolutely times where we're like, oh, that's a pitch they should swing at. But it's situation dependence, right? Like if you've got a pitcher on the ropes and you've got a couple of guys on base and the guy just walked the batter ahead of you, you're taking a pitch.
Oh yeah,
That's it. Like you're taking a pitch.
But the problem is those things are easy to identify. They're not doing it when they need to do it. Yes, they're still doing it when it's easy for like anybody to know. Yeah, you just take one here. But like, I'm only singling him out because I remember like Bryson Stott stared at 2 pitches right down the middle in his first or second at bat. Just stared at him. Like, buddy, what else are you looking for? Why are you making up your mind as soon as, like, before the pitch is even thrown? I get it. Sometimes that works and you jump on something. I understand that. But like, you stared at 2 pitches down the middle and then flied out on a high fastball that was out of the zone. Like, it's just like, it's completely backwards. It's backwards. And I don't know the reason. And that's obviously part of the frustration is we'll never know.
Well, we'll know tomorrow.
God, I hate it. I hate it so much that we have to go to tomorrow. I hate it.
I mean, look, man, I'm going to be honest with you. It could be worse for us. Have you seen this Joe Shad guy, the writer for the Dolphins?
Didn't you retweeted something about him?
Yeah,
right?
and I just responded to him too. I just want to make sure he's okay. I'm worried about that guy.
Are you?
I mean, he has been in a bad place since last night. I mean,
What did he say now?
Well, this was at like 8:00 this morning. But he tweeted Eagle Sports Radio this morning, claiming Eagles D was impressive and over, mentioning Miami missing top left tackle, left guard, center, wide receiver, running back for all or much of the. So I just said, hey man, I just want to check in. Are you good? Like, are you okay? I'm worried about him. Like, he's really struggling with this loss.
Yeah, it's tough.
I feel like he's more of a fan than he is a writer at this point. Like, journalistic integrity out the window with this guy. He is all messed up. Hey, did you see who's throwing out the first pitch tomorrow?
If you lose a Game 7 with John Kruk throwing out the first pitch, I might not be a Phillies fan anymore.
I think this is the ultimate. Games 6 and 7. Honestly, this is me saying it truthfully. These two were the ultimate. We didn't think we were getting to a game 6 and 7.
No.
So they just
newsflash. You fucking shouldn't have.
No. Oh, absolutely not. No, this game should have been over in 5. But this is like, oh, we need 2 guys to throw out the first pitch.
Who's around?
These guys are here all the time. So we're gonna use the.
Yes.
And that is that. So,
but again,
look, I mean, they're also
John Kruk.
They're 2 complete legends.
Yeah.
That the town just immediately like connects to. So it also doesn't hurt, right? Like, it's just funny. That's my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. But it feels very much that way. Anything else, man?
No.
So
I'm defeated. I'm defeated.
Okay. Well, don't be.
I hate that I have to watch a Game 7 tomorrow. I hate it.
Look, I don't feel good about it either. Like, I'm not thrilled that we're watching a Game 7 tomorrow. But something with this team has me really calm, and really confident. Now, will I feel this way
I haven't reached
tomorrow?
That place yet.
Will I feel this way tomorrow? I don't know. I actually said to Andrea, what do you need done around the house? Because I'm going to need to kill, like, I have enough stuff to do during the workday. Like, I have enough stuff that I need to get done.
Mm-hmm.
But from, like, I'm going to grill dinner. So that's like a solid 45 minutes, in the middle of the evening. But, like, I don't know. I guess I'll play a board game or something. Like, what am I going to do?
Luckily,
to kill 3 hours.
We have some soccer practices on Tuesdays. Today,
Okay.
It actually worked out that today it was at 5:07. We don't have practices on Monday.
What time is soccer practice?
It's like 5. It's like we got to leave the house at 5:30. It's like 6 to 7:15 ish.
Okay.
And then we'll get home and get the boys showers and like kind of get them prepped to watch a little bit of the game.
What time? What's for dinner?
It's a very quick dinner. Usually Ange and I don't eat till 8:30. So
Yeah.
I'll be picking up like some Wawa or something from across the street, but it's going to be a quick mac and cheese or chicken nugget night for the boys.
Yeah. I think we're gonna have burgers tomorrow and settle in at 7:30. And I'm gonna change a little bit about the hasn't been perfect, right? It's a 1-game season at this point. So I think we're gonna switch from beer to gin, which is what I drank all of last postseason.
Okay. I haven't drank.
So
I haven't been drinking during the games. I can't do it.
yeah, I mean, I go through like a beer or two.
Yeah.
Like I'm not,
like, I don't even, I take it out afterwards depending on how I feel. And I was, ready to kind of celebrate tonight. And now I'm drinking my sorrows away.
I think we're gonna celebrate tomorrow. I don't anticipate those veterans showing up
Desperately
the
hope
same
so.
way.
But
I don't
oh my
anticipate them
God.
showing up that way. I really don't. I will say this, Regz. Are you following the ALCS right now?
On Twitter, I haven't been. It's what, 8-2?
8-2 Rangers.
Yeah, in like the 4th, right?
Wow.
Yeah. 2 big hits at the bases loaded, right?
Wow. And now I texted you earlier that Bruce Bochy's never lost a game 7.
And Dusty's never won one.
Dusty's never won one. It looks like that trend will be continuing. I know it's only the 4th, it's a 6-run game, but goodness gracious.
Someone asked me today, who would you rather play? And the first thing I said was, well, we're not there yet, so I don't like this question.
Yeah.
And then my second answer was, I don't know. Probably Houston, but it doesn't mean they scare me less.
Yeah.
It's just like sort of the devil you know a little bit.
Yeah, I mean both teams are ridiculous. Like when you look at what they both pose, like there's that guy that you never want to face.
There's
right?
no great option.
For me with the Rangers, it's Corey Seager.
Yeah.
For me
Bregman.
with it's Altuve for me.
Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah, Bregman, but like that's like the Trevor Simeon.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then this Evan Carter kid is absolutely out of control.
Playing great.
Texas is that's a good ball club right there, man. Like ball club and obviously home field advantage. So
I see. This literally just came to my head right now. Do we think some of this is the first time these Phillies have had home field advantage?
Maybe.
I'm not. Listen, I'm not using this as an excuse. This is just a thought exercise of like they've always just had to win one on the road, right? And I get it, in the World Series it didn't work out, but they still won one on the road, and then they came home, and this like is the first time that it's been different, and something's weird about. I'm not. This is not an excuse. You've heard how I've talked all night tonight.
I know.
This is not an excuse.
I know.
It's just like it just kind of is one of those things. Like I'd love for someone to get a honest answer. We wouldn't never get one, but it's just one of those weird things.
Yeah, it's I think there's the possibility that it's a little backward. But I don't know. I mean, they've been a good road team all year. So to go on the road and lose 2, baffling.
Yeah.
We
should have never been back here.
No matter what happens, I shouldn't say no matter what happens, but if they win tomorrow and Texas finishes it out, the good news is that they can pretty much they can travel on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Be there Wednesday, be there all day Thursday, right? Get themselves in that,
acclimated,
West Coast,
all that. Yep.
Acclimated to Texas, and then, be ready to go on Friday night. That's a positive. Plus, it's an 8:00 game.
Yeah.
So it's a little more in their wheelhouse and whatnot. But look, it all comes down to you got 9 innings of your season ahead of you, and I gotta tell you, man, like I just believe in this group of veterans to be ready tomorrow. I do. I really do. There was part of me tonight as I'm watching this game thinking, I wonder if they just took being at home for granted. Like I wonder if they just thought that they'd cruise. And you got to credit this really feisty Diamondback team that just they're not going to roll over. And part of me, we talked about it on the last pod. I said it on Saturday night. This Diamondbacks team's not going to want to come. They're not going to play in October. They're not going to want to be in this. And it felt like the Phillies took on that personality tonight. I don't anticipate that being the case tomorrow. I really don't. I think this group knows what they have to do. I think they have the guys to do it. I think it just comes down to executing it. And if they execute it, I really don't even see it being close. I don't. If they do what I know they can do offensively, what they know they can do offensively, and they do it the right way, I don't think it's close.
Nothing inside me wants that to happen more.
I will say this.
All I want.
This is the other side of that. I think they're going to try and get Brandon Pfaadt through the order twice.
Yep.
And if the Phillies don't do damage in those 2 times through, we're going to see this exact same process that we saw tonight. And we have shown that we cannot touch those 3 guys. Well, a little bit with Thompson. They've had some luck with Thompson. But those other 2?
Yeah.
So you've got 2 times through the order with Pfaadt. That's it. If you don't jump on him in the way that puts him in the dugout and you get to these other guys where you can build on your lead, unless it's like a close or tie game that one bounce of the ball, one lucky run into swing changes it. If it's anything like tonight where, the Diamondbacks put up 4 or something and we're just kind of stuck in this same approach and they get to those last 3 dudes, that's it. You can chalk it up. That being said, I don't think it happens. So
I hope you're right, buddy. I really do. I really
look,
do.
I'm not going to do a long sign off tonight. We're just going to go ahead and say, if you're watching for the first time, click subscribe and otherwise, hang tight. We'll be back tomorrow night. We'll be back on Tuesday. We didn't want to be, but we're going to be. And hopefully, fingers crossed.
Oh my God.
All the superstitions.
My wife might leave me, quite honestly. She might just make me walk out the door. I might have to crash with you for a little bit. So if you can get the guest pillows ready, I'd appreciate it.
The guest bed's already made, man.
Fantastic.
So you're good.
Fantastic.
But we'll see, man. I just feel like you got the right group of guys. You got to do what's made you successful at home all of this postseason. Tonight was your first loss at Citizens Bank Park. So go win tomorrow.
Please, Phillies. Please. Just please. I don't ask a lot from you. Just please.
Ranger. Right guy, right spot.
Yep.
Right guy, right spot. We'll talk to y'all tomorrow. In the meantime, go get him, Phils. One more game to decide your season.
Please,
win and we get a fresh slate. We get to start this all over again. So I believe in you guys.
Bye, everybody.
Don't let us down. We'll talk to you later.
The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.